Good morning, everyone. Scooter here from Granville Guitars here in lovely St. Petersburg, Florida. Want to tell you all about this Marshall that I've just finished constructing. It's the Granville AMD 800, which is a JCM 800 circuit, mid-80s. Built it into a mid-80s cabinet. The cabinet is genuine Marshall. The chassis was purchased from our good friends over at Watts Tube Audio, Ken Watts, and it's an amazing chassis. It's really, really very nice. The front plate was done by our friends over at Mojo Tone. As you can see, instead of JCM next to the power and standby, it says AMD, which of course means Amplifier of Mass Destruction. The controls are the normal Marshall controls: presence, bass, middle, treble, master, preamp. The layout and schematic are pretty much standard Marshall JCM 800 of that era, with very little deviation, if any. I just wanted it to be a classic sounding Marshall style amplifier, and that's what it ended up becoming, and it's exceeded my expectations. It might be my favorite amplifier that I've ever built. Once again, from Mojo, the back plates have my slogan on there: protect the innocent, punish the wicked. I stole that from a Batman comic book, if I remember correctly. Made in USA by me. The usual stuff back here. Main select switch is not connected because this is my amp and it's only going to be used in America, so there we go. Output select switch, the usual stuff, fuses, IEC outlet for power, JJ caps. The power transformer is from Pacific, which I'm told, this is unconfirmed, but I'm told this is the output transformer that was favored by Ken Fisher when he was building train wrecks. Not sure if that's true, but hey, there it is, and it sounds wonderful. Power tubes and phase inverter preamp tubes from our good friends at JJ. Purchased those from Antique Electronics Supply. Seek them out, one of your better sources on the net. Let's see here. Classic tone output transformer and choke, and that's it really for the back panel. That pretty much covers everything. I'm going to be running this today into my English-made Marshall Classic 1960 with a single input jack, or output jack. Actually, that is an input jack, isn't it? Input to the speakers, of course. The way God intended. None of this switching nonsense that catches fire. So come back around to the front of the cab. She's loaded with English-made Celestion G1275s. I've got it mic'd up with the ever-trusty Shure SM57 microphone. No processing. Running it straight into my Sony digital video camera by way of a Beachtech DXA-2T interface that allows me to plug that into the camera. So that's what we're going to be listening to today, and I'm pretty pleased with it. See what you think. Alright, here we go, everybody. This is the sound test of the Granville AMD 800 Marshall style amplifier. Today I've got my Granville Dallas guitar. It's an all mahogany Strat style guitar with rosewood fretboard. We've got the DiMarzio PAF Joe in the neck position and the Mojo in a bridge position. Really like these pickups a lot, real big sounding. I forgot I have to talk into the microphone. Hopefully y'all could hear me saying all that stuff. Excuse me, this guitar also has an EMG afterburner on board, which has several different settings to it.
I may or may not use that because it really doesn't need it, but it's kind of fun to have it there for lead boosts and the like. So that's the guitar I'm using. I'm actually plugged into a Granville copper drive for a little extra push. But in most cases, man, this thing just sounds so good without it that it really doesn't need it. Anyway, so what I've done is I've basically set up what I would call a dirty sound with the volume all the way up, and then you back off for a little bit of a clean. Now I'm going to start with both pickups and the volume backed off, probably about, I would say probably 30%, and this just gives us a clean sound. Not the sort of thing you would typically expect from a Marshall, but there it is. And that's actually plugged into the high sensitivity input, which is the higher gain input. So it's real dynamic and touch sensitive, and you can actually dirt it up by laying into it. That's all what I would call a clean sound. Here's the neck pickup. And then the bridge pickup. Before I've ever touched the volume control. We get the volume control all the way up, and then that hair starts to come in. If I move the afterburner to the first notch and hit the front end just a little bit harder, pretty nice. So I've backed the afterburner back down, and there's the tone control in the middle, by the way. Not going to touch that thing. Don't really like tone controls, but it's there. You can have some fun with it, I guess. You back it all the way up. I have a certain tone control that I like to use in guitars that only affects mid-range and kind of gives you a little bit of a cocked wah sound when you back it off. I kind of forget it's there because I typically never use it, but it's fun when you decide you want to. All right, let's hit this thing with copper drive on the front end and see what we get here. It's going to juice it up even more. It's a whole lot of fun. I'm just having a great time with it. I'm really having fun with it. It really does illustrate one of my favorite points about guitar amplifiers in general, and that is this. Simpler is better. If you open this thing up, you're going to see not a whole bunch of stuff in there. You don't need switching or effects loops. I kind of understand the need for an effects loop occasionally if you want pristine, clean delays, reverbs, etc. I get that, but it just adds more circuitry and it adds more stuff, schmutz in the way of the tone. The true tone lies in simplicity. 6 knobs, that's the max you should have. You can do everything you need to do with one channel. You heard how grimy and gritty that'll get. You turn down the volume control on your guitar, which is something some guys forget about. And you've got a perfectly wonderful clean tone that'll get you there and back. Dirt on tap when you're ready. You switch to your bridge pickup, turn up the volume knob. And if you need a little more, you add a pedal. So there you have it. A little sound test of my latest amp build here, the Granville AMD 800. So named for my wife, actually. That's her initials. That's why it's AMD. Anyway, that's about all I got to show off for today. If you have any questions about anything we do here at Granville Guitars, seek us out on the web at www.granvilleguitars.com. You can also find us on Facebook, and our blog over on WordPress is called A View from the Granville Bench. Tons of fun stuff to enjoy and laugh at and generally amuse yourself for a time. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a rockin' good day.